Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Hope y'all are doing well this evening, this blessed Shabbat. I know I have very much looked forward to that this evening. You can tell my shirt today. Joey told me maybe you should wear that tonight when you talk, because I wore this to work today. And if you can't read it in the back, it says, "Work hard and be nice." And that's been kind of my motto for today, really for the entire week. I saw it earlier this week and I was like, I have to get that to wear to work, because that's very important to me in my life, and also that everyone around me. Just work hard and be nice. So that being said, I wore it to work today, and wouldn't you just know it, today happened to be my day to do conflict resolution all day. all day. So I spent about half my day in the back room talking to people one-on-one, actually having very good, very productive conversations. I can bless Hashem for that one, because they could have been very, very uncomfortable conversations, but really they ended up being pretty okay. And one of the things that really stood out to me is what the levels of offense people take. So one of the things that kept coming up in these conversations was, I was very offended by that person. And the other person was like, I didn't know I offended that person. So those sorts of miscommunications coming up over and over again. And it reminded me that it's really on us, and really a scriptural thing, to make sure that we're communicating to people, not only the ones that we feel like we've offended, for reconciliation, but also the people who've offended us. We need to be seeking reconciliation from them too. Because when we hold on to things, as we know, if you've ever been a person who holds a grudge, that would be me. Not so much anymore, but if I get good and revved up, I can hold one real well. I try not to, because that's just another thing to carry. But that it's very important for us to do that. In fact, what is it? Ephesians says, "Be angry and do not sin." Ephesians 4:26 says, "Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger." So the Lord even says to us, hey, if you're offended by somebody, you need to address that right then. One of the conversations that I had today was a young woman is having a problem with another young woman about, there was a big blow up that happened. And when I talked to the young woman who made there was some cussing involved. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for y'all. It was an inappropriate statement. But when I got to talking to her about it, she's like, well, I just feel like this person offends me all the time. They say these things and they pick at me all the time. I said, well, have you ever addressed this with her before? No, I've just let it go. I said, well, I understand if you feel like if you're offended by somebody and you want to, just forgive and go on and not say anything. But it's obvious that you're holding on to it, because the offense that preceded the blow up was really not something that was all that big. It was a very small misunderstanding and became a very big deal. So, we just talked about, it's very important to communicate to people that they are offending you, so that you don't hold and stoke the fires of anger and hatred in your heart, because that's something that's really hard to hold on to, and it causes baggage on your own soul. And again, it's not scriptural. You're not supposed to let the sun go down on your anger, which means that you should be seeking reconciliation even from those people who have offended you. Now, I pulled the other party to this big blow up into my office, and she is totally clueless. I don't know why this person blew up at me. I don't know why they were cussing me. I thought we had a good relationship. So, the supposed offender has no idea that they offended them. So we're having a meeting about that, but that's not really the point. The point is, when you, and this is one of the things that I've had to learn throughout my life, it's not good wanted to when you have a relationship with somebody that you see every day, whether they're a coworker or a family member or a friend, and you let little tiny offenses go unchecked for a long time, you're not helping that relationship. You may be an illusion that you're helping that relationship, that you are being the bigger person and letting it go, but you're not. You're really just teaching that person that it's okay for them to keep offending you because they don't know that they're offending you to begin with. You know, so we really need to make sure that we are talking to one another, and we need to know that when we do talk to each other about offenses, just because you don't think somebody should be offended doesn't mean they don't have the right to be offended. One of my friends said something to me a long time ago. I'm like, I was really upset with another friend, and I was like, do you think it's just silly that I feel this way? Do you think I just shouldn't even feel this way? And she was like, Caylar, your feelings are valid because they're your feelings, and they're how you feel. So we can't invalidate somebody else's feelings because we don't feel like they should feel that way. I'm talking in a circle, but I hope you get what I mean. And that reminds me of, we're supposed to be loving towards one another, and in 1 Corinthians it says, love is not rude, it does not insist on its own way, and it is not irritable or resentful. So if we're approaching each other in love, we can't just insist that, well, you need to feel the way I feel like you should feel about this. We're all valid people with our emotions, and our emotions are valid because of our emotions and they're how we feel. A long time ago, I think I was talking to my husband about, people being offended and trying to talk to people who are offended about things, and, he was like, well, I really tried to soften my voice and talk to them and really, be professional and be softened in my demeanor. And I said, but you're still angry in your heart. So a lot of times when we're angry in our heart, but we try to soften our voice, it comes out as patronizing. You're going to have to soften your heart, and then your words will automatically be soft. So that doesn't mean that you just let things go that need to be addressed. It just means that, there's a saying in psychology, HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Don't have conversations with people during that time. You can't have meaningful conversations with people when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, because you already have something else on your mind that's irritating you. Anyway, so I want to really you're supposed to be reconciled with whoever you're offended by. So I want to read this just kind of as a reminder to that. It's Matthew 5:23-24. So if you are offering your gift at the altar and then remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift before the altar and go. First be reconciled with your brother and then come offer your gift. That is how important reconciliation is to the Lord. That we not be offended by one another, that we don't take that anger towards one another, because we are supposed to approach each other in love. So that being said, my conclusion at work and my conclusion today is that peace is something that we all seek. It's universal in every creed, religion, community in the world. People just want peace. And so if there's anybody that you don't have peace with in your life, if there's any small offense, especially between a loved one, make sure to try and reconcile with them, because it's only going to bring the both of you peace. Thank you very much.